What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part today. I am so excited to upload this one for you guys because this video we'll be taking one final look at Kiryu, aka MechaGodzilla and Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S. So this movie came out back in 2003 and is actually a direct sequel to Godzilla against MechaGodzilla, where the movie picks up a year or two after the events of that last movie. And while I was so excited to reunite with some of the human characters I fell in love with in that last movie, I was a bit surprised that we got a whole new cast of human characters. And to add more of my surprise, the main character Yoshido is actually a mechanic, which I thought was a very interesting perspective given how when you look at movies that focus on giant fighting robots, we tend to focus more on the pilots who are kind of like these rock stars. And then when you look at Yoshido, who is this mechanic, he's kind of like nobody in terms of social hierarchy, because it reminded me of high school where you had the football players who were the popular kids, and then you got people in the math club that were practically the little people. So while I was enjoying these new human characters, I was instantly reminded that, hold on, wait a second, this is a Godzilla movie. We gotta see some monsters, and boy, do we see the return of my favorite version of MechaGodzilla, Kiryu, who, by the way, is still a good guy in this movie. And at the same time, we also get Mothra, and honestly, this is my introduction to a more traditional Mothra, meaning that I've only been used to seeing the MonsterVerse Mothra, who is just this giant flying insect, and seeing this more traditional Mothra in her full beauty and seeing all the mystic and kookiness to that. And what I mean by that is seeing the 6-inch little people sing Masura before Mothra leaves her island to go fly over to Tokyo. That was pretty cool. So while we have MechaGodzilla as the good guy, Mothra as a good girl, we gotta have a bad guy. You know what? Let's have Godzilla be the bad guy again. Just like in the last movie, for whatever reason, Godzilla decides to be a jerk and attack Tokyo. And you know what? I am all for it. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing him protect humanity, but sometimes it's pretty cool just watching him wreck shop. So we have 3 monsters, and in the words of the great Ken Watanabe from the 2014 Godzilla movie, let them fight. And oh my god, from beginning to end, this whole movie is a big knockdown drag out between Godzilla and MechaGodzilla while Mothra is trying to stop this fight, which is funny because most of the fight actually feels like a barroom fight where you have Godzilla who may have had a few too many drinks and is starting to cause trouble, while you have MechaGodzilla who's kindly escorting him out of the bar until Godzilla just takes one good swing at him and starts this whole fight, while you have Mothra who's trying to hold her boyfriend back from destroying the place. So while the monster side was super fun to watch, the human side was also very interesting because remember Yoshido? Yeah, he plays a big part in the third act of the film. And a movie that is centered around giant monsters fighting giant robots, to see the human story focus around a mechanical engineer was a nice little touch because the world today functions because of engineers. And to see this character who was practically bullied by these pilots, seeing him have his moment to shine was such a nice little touch because it reminds the audience that anyone can be a hero. They just need a chance to prove themselves. And we definitely see that with Yoshido in the third act of the film. And I love how this movie gives MechaGodzilla a proper send-off, because it would actually be 15 years later in 2018 when we would see some new version of him in Ready Player One, and then a few years later we would see what I would call the ugly version of him in Godzilla vs. Kong. So in my mind, this movie, along with Godzilla against MechaGodzilla, we get to see the best version of this character, who, by the way, came into this franchise as a villain. So to see him go from villain to hero in these movies, that's pretty cool, and this movie totally pays respect to this character. So overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie as we get more giant monsters and a whole new cast of human characters to fall in love with, and at the same time, with a runtime of just over an hour and a half, this movie is fast but not rushed. Just like I said in my Godzilla against MechaGodzilla review, this movie feels a lot more like a Saturday morning cartoon, and here we are just watching another episode of the Godzilla show, and you know what? I am all for it. So if you're looking to watch a more traditional Godzilla movie with giant monsters destroying Tokyo and then having a nice fun little human story on the side, I highly recommend you watch this movie. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. That was my overall review for Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button to get always updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.